Basically, there is a flow of information in this workbook, which I just want to go over so that it makes sense to you as to what each page does within the workbook and how they work together. It all starts with your invoice records. This is your cost of goods purchased. This pricing information then gets pulled into your recipe cards. Now there's two types of recipe cards. One is a base recipe and the other is a menu recipe. Menu recipes are pretty straightforward. It's what you sell. These are items on your menus, and these are the bottom line costs that you will look at, but more so whoever you report to, your management, your ownership. That's going to be their key area where they're focused on. Your base recipes are items that you don't sell, but you make all the time in order to create the menu recipes. A perfect example would be beef stock. So on our Google spreadsheet, there's a few of these items that might use beef stock, meatballs, beef rib pasta, peppercorn steak penne. You might be using beef stock in these recipes, but instead of having beef stock as a recipe within that recipe card, you use beef stock as an ingredient in that recipe card as well. It's a much more organized way to keep your recipes looking succinct, and these base recipes are often used in multiple items, so it makes a lot of sense to create base recipes. Depending on the type of place you're in, you may end up having more base recipes than menu recipes. Oh yeah, side items. I'm making up this pasta restaurant. Well, let's say most of these pastas get a side of garlic bread. So you don't want to add that piece of garlic bread to every menu item recipe. If you make that garlic bread a base recipe and then just add it as an ingredient to your menu recipe, you're going to be saving a boatload of time. A base recipe is going to have its own card, its own pricing, and it'll also have its own yield and cost per yield. And I'll show you a video of that later. When you compare this to one of the menu recipe templates, it is more focused on, your menu price. So you can pop in your menu price here, and all of these items over here will tally up into your cost per pie and give you your food cost. Well, these ingredients will be coming from your inventory and from your base recipes as well. So whatever this yields, it could very well end up in a base recipe. But most of your menu recipes will have base recipes included. So the sooner you can wrap your head around base recipes and menu recipes, the quicker it's going to be to price out an actual menu item. The other day we added a new pie to our recipe. I was able to cost it out within 5 minutes because it included base recipes. I had everything else in the inventory, and it was just bang, I had a 99% accurate food cost on it. Okay, the final flow of information goes to your menu mix analysis. It's not necessary to get caught up or feel, this is just information overload with a menu mix analysis. Later on, when you've got a handle on all of this stuff, then worry about your menu mix. And once you dive into that, you're going to find out how powerful a tool that is. But just for information's sake, you will have all of your menu items here. And what the menu mix does is basically compare the performance of those items against each other. And it will show a very accurate representation of what items you need to improve either in cost, labor, or performance on the menu in order to optimize your company's profit and where to focus your energies. A lot of this data has reference issues. That's only because I copied this from my own spreadsheet and I ripped out a bunch of the information when I uploaded the file. So you don't have to change anything here. It will fill in afterwards when we start doing our recipe costing. At the very least, to get started, I would just start photocopying your invoices or taking cell phone snapshots of it, because then you'll be able to start building your own inventory database. And once you get a handle on that, it's really smooth sailing from there, which is really going to make your job easier.